Hi everyone, and welcome to Miss Crafts-A-Lot's lair. I am Barbie, also known as Miss Crafts-A-Lot, and this is my lair. I still have some cleaning left to do to it, and organizing, but I'm getting there. Anywho, I wanted to come on here real fast and tell you that I am so sorry for being so absent the last 8 months on this platform. I kind of got into another platform and I've kind of been on there more. But I just wanted to come on here and let you guys know the reasoning behind it and where we're moving on from here. Um, so, back when I decided, for those of you who may not realize, I was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for a little over 4 years, which means that I've had this channel now for about 5 years. But I joined Stampin' Up! As a hobby demonstrator. I wasn't out there to make a whole bunch of money. I was just out in it to get the awesome benefits that they had going, or at least what I thought at the time were good benefits. So as a hobby demonstrator, when I joined, they still had flex points available, and they had the 20% discount that you would get automatically with being a demo. They did away with the flex points, which, okay, flex points were okay. I was able to only have to buy one box of catalogs the entire time I was a demonstrator. That came out of my pocket because I was able to use flex points. Not a big deal. Part of business. The real issue started when my mother-in-law passed away, and she was one of my bigger customers. But when she passed away, I inherited her craft room, and I found out, was the original Miss Crafts-A-Lot. And a lot of stuff came my way, and trying to fit, that's kind of why this looks like this, is I'm still trying to integrate her stuff into my craft room and make it work for the space that I have. That being said, there were quite a few things that I was not going to be using, or that I had like multiples of. And being a demonstrator through Stampin' Up, I was unable to sell anything that was not Stamping Up, which I was about to go to one of the groups on Facebook and say, hey, look, does this apply to even secondhand stuff? And another demonstrator was able to beat me to it. She asked, and they told her basically to either give it away or throw it away or sit on it. Well, none of those three made sense to me at all. And so I was kind of waning from Stampin' Up! For that purpose, because of the fact that not only do I have a stuffed craft room, it's also spilling out into other parts of my house. So that was just kind of like, I'm gonna do it under the table and just kind of get away with it, just kind of try to skirt by. If I lose my demonstratorship, I'm not that worried about it. The real problem, though, and the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, was the fact that they sent out, early May. I'll start off with early May. Early May, I was watching YouTube, and I saw one of my fellow demonstrators' YouTube channels that I follow regularly, and I noticed she wasn't using Stampin' Up! Stuff. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. So I went back and backtracked to, I think she posted it in mid-April, that she had left Stampin' Up! And the reasoning being is that there were charges that came off on her debit card or credit card, whichever one it is, doesn't really matter to me. But she had these unauthorized charges come through in her account. And when she had looked into stuff, she was actually, with how she went about figuring out if it could have been Stampin' Up! Because there was nothing released to the demos, She in turn got a cease and desist, basically from, it sounds like, from Stampin' Up and such. I was like, wow, that's kind of sucky. But still nothing has happened to me personally. Well, fast forward to a couple weeks later, and us demos, because she's in the UK, us demonstrators in North America got an email saying, hey, look, we were breached. Paper Pumpkin was breached. But anybody who was involved in the breach, it was only part of you, and whoever was affected received emails or will receive paper mail describing what to do and such. And so I didn't think anything about it. A couple of days later, I noticed that there's a weird charge on my account. And so I called my bank and I told my bank about what was going on. They instantaneously shut my card down, told me I had to go get a new card, and so I was like, okay, that works. I have to change my numbers everywhere, but who cares? Glad it was only, for me, 2 cents. Caught it early. I was getting ready to go on a short vacation with my husband, and as I'm running around doing laundry, packing stuff up and such, I get another, or I don't get an email. What happens is that I thought, something popped into my head, check Facebook. So I checked Facebook, and just before I had checked Facebook, a fellow demonstrator friend of mine posted that she was breached, and by what she was saying, it matched what happened to me. So I sent her a private message, and I asked her, and we compared notes, and it seemed to be the same place. Okay, well, at this point in time, still, it's me and another demonstrator. We can fight our own battles, is how I looked at it. But neither one of us had gotten a paper letter saying, hey, look, you were involved in the breach. Fast forward to 2 more days later, and my best friend, who is also a customer of mine, told me, because after I realized that the other demonstrator had the issue, I reached out to all of my customers who had ever gotten Paper Pumpkin and said, hey, look, check into your stuff, watch your stuff, this is why. And that Saturday, I get a phone call from my best friend going, they got me too. So at this point in time now, I am a demonstrator. My customer, who is a friend of mine, has had this issue. So I called Stampin' Up. I will say that on the email, it did not say to call demonstrator support, that they had no information, but I figured maybe they'd at least have an information to a lawyer or somebody that they were using, so that I could call and say, hey, look, this goes farther than what you guys have in your books, basically. So when I called them, I got customer care demonstrator support that was kind of snippy. We don't have that information. You weren't supposed to call us. And kind of just really curt about the situation. And I'm just thinking, well, can you give me somebody higher up so that I can talk to them about this? Because this is a bigger than what you might think that your company might think it is. And at which point in time, the line disconnected. Now I can only say it disconnected. I can't say that they hung up on me or whatever. I just know that in my 4+ years of dealing with demonstrator support, because I had contacted them as a customer before, I have never had an issue with the lines disconnecting. Just something that I thought was kind of fishy. And so I decided that there at the end of May, that it was a correct thing for me to do, just to let my demonstratorship just cease and run out. So Now, that was the story as to why I left Stampin' Up. I was planning on coming back to this channel, making this video so much sooner, because it has been like 8 months, 7, 8 months since this has happened. But life happened, things just, I was not able to get back down here. I've been trying to slowly work on getting this organized. So I was just not able to come back to the channel right away. That being said, I am ready now to return to the channel, and that means that this channel is not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, if you are a multi-crafter like me, this particular channel is going to have a lot more stuff than just paper crafting. I understand that that's going to kind of probably jumble my numbers around a bit, but I am intending on having not just paper crafting. My original start for crafting was crochet and plastic canvas, or cross stitching. So I have stuff in this craft room. This is a multi-crafter's craft room because I have stuff for painting. I have yarn to my left. I have yarn that I have stocked. So I crochet, I knit, I cross stitch, I plastic canvas, it's kind of a wide variety of stuff. And as you can see over this shoulder, I have my brother's Scan and Cut. So I do a lot more than just paper crafting, and paper crafting was just a small snippet of my crafting abilities and love for crafting. So I am going to be starting a series on crochet stitches and knit stitches and the basics, a series real fast of the basics of those two, as well as probably doing basics of the plastic canvas. Cross stitch, it's questionable at this point in time, but it's not totally ruled out. And there are going to be more crafts that I am going to throw in to this eventually. So this is just kind of a rudimentary overview of what I plan on doing with this channel. But this channel is going to turn into a multi-crafting channel. There's going to be a lot more coming from this channel. So if you've made it this far, and you love to craft, or there's a particular craft that you're looking into, be sure to subscribe to this channel, because there is going to be so much more happening on here, and it's going to pretty much be blowing up. I wanted to also let you know that in the links below in the description, I have all of my links are there, as far as my other social media accounts and such. So, and including my Patreon that is now set up. I do have to make a quick video for that to open that up, but my Patreon is there. Obviously, you know, my YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. I'm kind of everywhere. So so that's Etsy, my Etsy accounts. My Etsy store is listed there as well, and Ravelry. Like I said, I am just about everywhere. I am not going anywhere anytime soon. You are going to be seeing a lot of this and a lot of my workspace in the coming months. So join me for my ride, because this is gonna be, I think this is gonna be kind of fun. So and not to mention the fact too that I am planning on doing outtakes. Every so often I'll be posting an outtakes video that is going to be going onto my Patreon, so you can see me making a fool of myself even more than I am now. So welcome. Thank you so much. And like I said, don't forget to like, share, and comments. I am not going to be posting, this one's going to have its usual end to my videos, although it is not going to have an old video to watch because of the fact that I'm not wanting to, I have all of my Stampin' Up videos saved because that's kind of the history of this channel. This channel was born of my Stampin' Up and my paper crafting, but it is not going to, I don't want to lose those. So yes, so this is not going to have, yeah, I guess I'm going off on a tangent. But thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this project, please like, share, subscribe, and watch more. You can find links to my Stampin' Up! Store, blog, dimensions, and the product list in the description below. Until next time.